Okay, let's kick off this deep dive with something I think everyone can relate to. Remember back in 2014, Justin Bieber's arrest in Miami?
Oh, definitely. That was everywhere.
Right. And the question is, why did you instantly click that headline? Or, tell your friend about it?
Because it wasn't just interest, was it? It felt more like, well, almost collective glee. I mean, the numbers were staggering, something like 6,100 tweets a minute at the peak.
The whole internet just seemed to stop and sort of revel in it. And
Yeah.
that feeling, that reaction, that's what we're diving into today. We're going beyond just saying, oh, it's entertainment. We want to know why our brains seem genuinely hardwired to care about the ups and maybe especially the downs of people we've never met, these huge stars.
Exactly. We've been digging into a lot of research here, psychology, neuroscience, even sociolinguistics, to figure out the science behind this obsession. And it turns out gossiping about celebrities isn't just frivolous. It's actually, well, quite strategic and rewarding and pretty ancient, too.
Ancient. Okay, let's start there. You're saying this goes way back, like evolutionarily.
Yeah, absolutely. This urge to track high-status individuals isn't just a modern human thing. It's a survival trait we actually share with other primates.
Seriously? Like monkeys are gossiping?
Well, not quite like us, but think about it in terms of survival in early social groups. Knowing what the dominant figures, the alphas, were up to, who they were allied with, if they were succeeding, if they were, messing up, that information was crucial for your own survival and opportunities.
Okay, that makes sense. So it serves a couple of functions then.
Two key ones, really. First, aspiration. You see what high-status individuals do, how they operate, and it gives you a kind of roadmap for how you might achieve similar status yourself. You learn what works.
And the second?
Navigation. Knowing the dynamics at the top helps you figure out your own place in the social hierarchy. How to act, who to align with, who to maybe avoid.
So when we're scrolling through celebrity news, we're essentially doing strategy learning. That's the term you used.
That's it. It's a really low-cost way to get vital, fitness-relevant information. You learn about social norms, mating strategies, what leads to success, what leads to failure, all without taking any personal risk.
Right, like watching Bieber's arrest teaches you maybe not to drag race in Miami, but you don't have to pay the lawyer fees yourself.
Exactly. You get the data point without the personal cost.
Wow. I never thought of my doom scrolling as an evolutionary strategy, but you're saying our brains actually prioritize this. Like, we pay more attention to famous faces.
We do. Research shows we have heightened attention for and better memory of high-status individuals.
Yeah.
Their faces, their actions. Our cognition is basically geared to track the successful and influential.
Okay, so evolution primed us for this. Now, link that to the brain itself. Because you mentioned there's a difference between what we say we enjoy and what our brains are actually doing.
Yes, this is where brain imaging studies, particularly some fascinating work by Chinese researchers, come in. It reveals this really interesting disconnect.
We all like to pretend we're above the gossip, right? Oh, I don't follow that stuff. But the brain scans tell a different story.
They really do.
Mm-hmm.
So in these studies, people reported feeling roughly the same level of enjoyment hearing negative gossip about a friend compared to a celebrity. That's what they said.
Okay.
But when they were actually in the scanner, listening to negative stuff about celebrities, scandals, public failures, that kind of thing, a specific brain region called the caudate nucleus went into overdrive. Much more activity than for gossip about friends.
Hold on, the caudate nucleus, that's like the brain's reward center, right? Involved in pleasure, motivation, learning.
That's the one. It's a core part of our reward circuitry. So hearing about some famous person's massive public screw-up literally activates the pleasure centers in your brain.
So my brain gets a little ding of
Yes.
pleasure from celebrity misfortune.
Pretty much, yeah. And the level of activation they saw, it was comparable to the buzz you get from receiving, say, a financial reward, like finding money on the street. Your brain processes that negative celebrity news as a kind of win for you.
That is kind of wild. And didn't the research also mention something about self-control?
It did, yes. At the same time the reward center was lighting up, they also saw increased activity in brain areas linked to self-control and cognitive regulation.
Meaning?
It suggests that people are sort of aware, maybe subconsciously, that they're enjoying something they perhaps shouldn't be. It's like they're actively suppressing or masking that enjoyment to fit in with social expectations, acting cool about it while their brain is secretly doing a happy dance.
The ultimate guilty pleasure, then. Okay, so that covers the individual brain buzz, but gossip isn't just internal, it's social. You share it. Let's talk about the group benefits. Why do we spread this stuff?
Right, because the strategy learning aspect only really works if the information gets shared around. Gossip serves some really vital social functions for a community beyond just keeping us entertained.
Like what are the practical uses?
Well, first, just basic information sharing. Spreading news, even celebrity news, helps map out the social world, reinforces norms, keeps everyone kind of on the same page about what's acceptable and what's not.
Okay, makes sense. Information flow.
Then there's group protection. Think about sharing what some researchers call pro-social gossip, warning others about someone who's untrustworthy or behaves badly. Even if it's a distant celebrity, talking about their bad behavior can signal your own values and help police social boundaries.
Okay. So, judging celebrities reinforces our own group's moral code.
In a way, yes. And don't forget social bonding. Sharing secrets, even trivial ones about famous people, strengthens alliances. It creates a sense of us, of being in the know. It's emotionally rewarding and gives you a little hit of social power. You have valuable info.
Plus, let's be honest, sometimes it's just pure escapism, right? Celebrity drama is a distraction from our own lives.
Absolutely. It provides this constant stream of vicarious excitement and drama that takes us away from everyday stress.
But going back to that brain reward, it seems strongest for the negative stuff. Which brings us to that German word, Schadenfreude. The pleasure we get from someone else's misfortune, you're saying that's especially strong with celebrities.
Very much so. That collective reaction to the Bieber arrest. Pure, large-scale Schadenfreude. Think about it. We often hold celebrities to these incredibly high, sometimes impossible standards, partly because their lives seem so different, so much better than ours in many ways.
That huge status difference.
Exactly. And when they fall, when they mess up publicly, it kind of levels the playing field psychologically.
So is it just mean-spirited jealousy then? Are we just happy they failed?
It can feel that way, but researchers often describe Schadenfreude as more of a social balm. It soothes the discomfort that huge status inequality can create. Their failure makes them seem more human, maybe more relatable, and it offers a kind of relief from that constant, often uncomfortable social comparison.
It makes us feel a bit better about our own lives, maybe. Like, see, they're not perfect either.
Precisely. It psychologically balances the scales a bit. They might have the fame and fortune, but they still trip up, just like us.
And this feeling, this Schadenfreude balm, probably influences who we gossip about negatively, right? You mentioned we target celebrities more with bad news.
That's a key finding. Studies show we spread significantly more negative gossip about celebrities and, interestingly, about members of outgroups, people not in our immediate social circle.
Whereas with friends and family,
We tend to share more positive news. We build them up. The logic is pretty straightforward, if a bit ruthless.
how so?
Spreading negative stuff about a celebrity carries almost zero personal risk. You're not going to damage a valuable relationship with them because you don't have one.
Right, they'll never know.
Exactly. But that negative information, it's still valuable social currency because they're such high-status targets. Knowing their failures gives you something interesting, maybe even useful, to share with your actual social circle.
Okay, that strategic angle is really interesting, and I guess this is amplified by those parasocial relationships we form, these one-sided bonds.
Definitely. We consume so much media about these interviews, social media posts, films, music, that we start to feel like we know them. It creates this illusion of intimacy, even though it's completely one way.
Like they're part of our extended social network, almost.
Right. And that illusion makes their lives feel relevant to ours. Their successes feel kind of inspiring, maybe, and their failures. Well, they trigger that Schadenfreude, that reward system, much more strongly because it feels like drama involving someone we know.
Okay, this makes a lot of sense. Now, we have to address the elephant in the room, the stereotype that women are the main gossipers. What does the actual research say?
Yeah, that's a really persistent stereotype, but the science tells a different story. Recent research, like a big study from UC Riverside, found that men and women actually gossip for about the same amount of time overall. The frequency isn't the main difference.
So it's not about how much, but maybe why and what they gossip about.
Exactly. The differences lie more in the motives and the content.
Right.
For instance, women tend to report getting greater enjoyment from gossiping and see it as having stronger social value compared to men.
Okay, so same frequency, different strategy. Let's break down those motives. For women, you said it's more relational.
Primarily, yes. It's often about building connections, maintaining relationships, but also sometimes subtly about competition, especially intersexual competition.
Competition with other women. How does gossip fit in?
Historically, and sometimes still today, Gossip can function as a form of indirect aggression. It's a way to compete with rivals, maybe over social standing, reputation, attractiveness, or even partners, without resorting to direct, potentially risky confrontation. It's about influencing reputations.
Ah, okay, so the topics would reflect that.
Yes, women's gossip tends to focus more on relationships, social dynamics, appearance, family matters, emotional states, and they often frame it carefully, maybe as sharing concerns, which protects their own image while still potentially damaging a rival's. Research also suggests women are often better at remembering the relational and moral details of the gossip.
Interesting. And how do men's motives contrast with that?
Men's gossip tends to be more strategic in a different way, more focused on status, hierarchy, and instrumental goals. It's often used to reinforce their position in a social structure, convey insider knowledge, or even assert a kind of dominance.
So less about relationships, more about power plays.
Often, yes, the topics reflect this. Achievements, work, money, career moves, sports, politics, power dynamics. It's generally more focused on facts, events, competence, less on the emotional nuances. They might use it as competitive intelligence, figuring out who's up, who's down, where the opportunities are.
And the framing is different too.
Yeah, men might frame their gossip more often as humor, banter, or objective commentary, which kind of distances them from the moral judgment aspect. And cognitively, they tend to remember the structural or achievement-related details better.
And you see this reflected in media coverage too, right? How celebrities themselves are treated.
Absolutely. The media often mirrors and reinforces these gendered patterns. There was a thesis, I think, from BYU fairly recently, looking at red carpet interviews. It found female celebrities get asked disproportionately about their appearance, their relationships, maybe their clothes.
While the guys get asked about their latest project, their achievements, future plans.
Exactly. So the media narrative itself often frames women as relational or aesthetic objects and men as agents of action and accomplishment. And that, in turn, likely influences the kind of celebrity news each gender tends to consume and discuss, reinforcing the whole cycle.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack. Let's try and summarize the key takeaways from this deep dive.
Sure. So takeaway number one, this fascination isn't trivial, it's deep-seated. Your brain is actually hardwired to pay attention to high-status individuals and negative celebrity gossip. It literally triggers your brain's reward center, kind of like getting a cash bonus.
It's a neurological perk for tracking the elite. Okay, takeaway two.
Gossip, especially celebrity gossip, is a powerful, low-risk social tool. It's strategy learning, helping you navigate social hierarchies and learn norms. And that feeling of schadenfreude, it's real, and it acts as a sort of social balm, easing the discomfort of huge status differences.
Makes inequality feel a tiny bit less jarring. Got it. And takeaway three.
The gender difference isn't about how much people gossip. Men and women do it equally. It's about why and what. Women's gossip often focuses on relationships and reputation, sometimes as indirect competition. Men's gossip tends to be more about status, hierarchy, and competitive intelligence. Different goals, different strategies.
Okay, great summary. So for a final thought, we've talked about the brain rewards, the social functions, even those one-sided parasocial relationships we build up.
Right, those feelings of connection fueled by media exposure, especially social media, which makes celebrities seem so accessible.
It creates this illusion of intimacy. But is there a downside to getting too invested?
There can be, yes. While casual interest is generally harmless, some research links what's called excessive celebrity worship, where these parasocial bonds become really intense and central to someone's life with some negative outcomes. Things like higher neuroticism, vulnerable narcissism, more materialism, and maybe counterintuitively, generally poorer mental health.
So there's a line between harmless fascination and potentially unhealthy obsession.
I feel like it seems to be.
Which brings us to a final question for you, the listener. Knowing now that your brain gets that little reward kick from celebrity failures, that it's partly evolutionary strategy and partly schadenfreude, how does that change how you might react the next time a big scandal breaks? Are you clicking for the strategy lesson or just chasing that dopamine hit? Something to think about next time you scroll past a headline.
It's definitely food for thought. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We'll see you next time.